Alan is the owner of Shark Paddleboards. He basically runs a company from the top all the way down to the floor. He's got a great team of people underneath him, but Alan really is involved right from the core up to making the board. I'm Gary, and Emma to my right. We are based in the UK, but we help Shark with a lot of the design work and also marketing and communications to help with the language barrier. But I suppose really, Alan, the start for you and I is to understand the paddleboards. You know, your passion for paddleboards starts really with this material that we call drop stitch. You know, there's a lot of different styles on the market. But where do you start when you choose this material? What makes you decide what you're going to sell?
Yes, to make a premium paddleboard, I think the most important thing is the material. If the material is accurate, and then the board will get very straight, no twist. But if the material is not accurate, the board will get a twist and the banana quite easy. So the material is always the most important thing to consider to make a premium paddleboard. And there's many types of materials like single layer, like a fusion, machine wave, or knit material in the market. For Shark, we're always using the best material, accurate material to make the paddleboard.
Okay, yeah. So as you mentioned there, so kind of keeping kind of high density, strong. Is this 1000 denier you use?
Yes.
1000 denier. So you can buy this in 500 and 1000.
Yes.
1000 is stronger, and that is the same for the base material. That also comes stronger and,
yes.
and lighter material.
Yep.
And then the PVC is bonded onto that substrate layer.
Yes.
And in single layer PVC, there's just one layer of PVC bonded.
Yes, just one layer.
And then for double layer, you have single layer PVC, another substrate, and
yes.
another layer of PVC.
Yes, exactly.
So to give it all strength and to take the PSI.
Yes.
And what's the difference between 500 denier and 1000 denier? Why is 1000 denier so much more important?
500 and 1000 means the strain. 1000 means the strain is stronger. It's double stronger than 500. So that's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it feel like on the water? Is the 500 denier a little bit bendier, or what's the difference? How does it work in the water? Why is 1000 denier so much more important to use?
1000 denier means the strain is stronger. It can hold higher PSI. Example, the premium board can inflate to 20 PSI or 25 PSI. It means the strain must be strong enough. So 1000 denier is more safer to use for the higher PSI board.
Okay, so for the customer looking, something that is 12 to 15 PSI is likely to be using a lower density 500 denier material, and there is too much pressure. If you paddle it up to 20, these will start stretching or snapping, or both. Do they stretch and do they snap? If you had a 15 PSI board, you put 20, it would start breaking.
Yeah, it starts probably, it's weaker than if it's not been done properly. It's becoming broken easier.
So
500
loses its overall rigidity.
Yeah.
When you showed us around the factory and you showed us the machine that's used, it was really interesting to see that actually when you use it, kind of explains why a double laminated board is a little bit more expensive, because the machine you use is quite expensive, and the whole the labour is much more labour intensive to make a double laminated board than it is a cheaper 500 denier board.
Yes, the single layer board, 500D or single layer board, the material is quite thin and soft. So the worker can put 5 pieces or even 10 pieces sometimes to cut in once. So the cutting process is really quick, and then reduce the labor. If the double layer, the fusion material, it the material itself very tough. You can't cut many layers. So so in Shark we only use a machine to cut the fusion material because the machine is more accurate in cutting. The material it is the key for building a premium board to have an accurate cutting.
Yeah, so if you make the board too quickly, it starts to shift, and it's possible that the product bends, where if you make it, it takes longer to do, but you use the higher material, you use the correct machine, then it's definitely the board is going to sit together properly. You're not going to start getting twisting.
Yes, if you cut many layers at once by hand, it normally goes a little bit not accurate, goes wrong direction. If the board shape is not accurate, you use the wrong cutting board. After you build the board itself will get easy twist.
Oh, that's really interesting.
So it's like everything, if you take your time, cut things slowly and more precisely, the finished product will be more precise and be more true to what you actually wanted to come out with, rather than it being cheaper. You mentioned earlier about the strands kind of being precise. So are you saying obviously some of the cheaper drop stitch maybe is not as precise, so it's a little bit kind of got strands sticking in the wrong direction sometimes, because again, buying quality drop stitch is more expensive?
Yeah, if the string not go straight, it goes somewhere else. After high pressure, the board will, the upper layer and the down layer will get shift, and then the board will get twist easy.
Okay, so again, everything from here to the finished product has to be very precise.
Yeah, must be very precise.
So we've cut the board out, we've chosen the materials. I suppose the next stage really is to start constructing the board, to make a board look like a board, because at the moment we've just got 2 layers of PVC that kind of flap around there. So the next part really is how do you bond these 2 layers together to kind of make the rail shape. Now obviously there's lots of important factors with rail shape, and that we don't want big gaps, we want the gap as small as possible, but there's welding and there's gluing. Can you kind of explain the difference?
Oh yes, actually the C shape is quite difficult to make it the 2 layers close to each other, because the closer 2 layer, the easier to get wrinkles at the corners. You can see the board at the corners get a lot of wrinkles. So this is the most difficult part, and the worker must be really patient in building the board, because there's a small wrinkles. It's hard for worker to make their work. And the thing different. I mean the machine fusion and glue. The different part of this 2 process is glue require more labor, and you need to how to say that?
Paint on.
Paint the glue, and then machine is just one time goes heat and go around the board, and the board will be made much quicker. And glue also, the best part for machine is fuse the 2 layer the material 2 layer material together. Means the board will have less chance to get leak.
Okay.
And longer time span.
Yeah. So again, the welding machine is just more precise. More precise, and so that's why.
You were talking about the C curve and how that's much harder to produce. So when me and Gary talk about the C curve, we say the top and the bottom of the board comes round, it nearly touches, and the reason we're so excited about that new process is it just allows the board to drive through the water more easily. When did you really discover it? I know it's not been around that long, and when we found out that the difference between kind of a really, really thick sidewall and how that affects the wind and the way, you know, when you bring that rail edge round into that curve and it allows the board to sit in the water, you know, how long has it taken you to engage with that process? How long have you been working towards gaining a C curve on a board?
It's not really long. We only feel like the C curve improves the performance of the paddleboard. Last year we only noticed it helps the performance of the board, easy to glide in the water.
Yeah, and it affects the nose as well.
It's quite hard in the production side at the beginning because before we used to have a thicker rail. Once we change to C-curve, the two layers close to each other, we have a lot of issues like wrinkles, and it will the worker feel like taking longer time to build the board. So they must be trained and also have more patience on building the board.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, but the performance advantages for both the C curve and the refined nose are massive. So it's been worth the journey for sure. It's noticeable. Okay, so moving on, we welded the first layer of PVC on. Obviously, then we have to glue the nice colourful layer of PVC onto the board.
Yep.
And obviously, with the rail of the board, it's important again to have the right materials. So you don't want to put a cheap layer of PVC around the side. But PVC has a substrate within inside.
Yes.
So that's what gives it its kind of strength and stops it from twisting and bending.
Yes.
And then that is then glued on to the welded rail of the paddleboard to kind of make it look good and also to add 2 layers for strength and rigidity. Some of the more premium boards in the range have also had I believe kind of carbon stringers and carbon rail bands involved. So this is still PVC, but the substrate inside is carbon rather than nylon that we would normally find.
Yes, it's carbon.
And the advantage of that again is reduced stretch.
Yes, reduced stretch.
So then
stronger than nylon.
Again, makes the boards more stiff.
More stiff, yes.
Okay, and this is bonded to the board with glue.
Yes.
Both on the deck sometimes.
On the deck or on the rail.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that just comes down to the performance again, just adds stiffness, which is what we're really after with a paddleboard.
Yes, exactly.
So you build the board. The most important part, really, I feel, is that it pumps up to 20 psi. The reason for that is it's allowed us to make boards of different thicknesses, with different riders, but keep the board rigid and flat throughout the water.
Yes.
If a board starts bending because it's low psi or low materials, the contact with the water is less, so you might buy a 10-6 board and it's then only 10 foot long, but also it's bent in the middle, so it spins. So all of the things you've put together are really going to help make this rigid, flat board. That's all the advantages. Is there any disadvantages? Does it take you longer to build or?
Yes, the disadvantage for 20 psi above board is difficult to build because the first process we need to find the right material must be stiff enough, and then we must be accurate in every process. First process is cutting, we must be accurate because if you're not doing it accurate in higher PSI means the board will get twisted quite easy.
So it's the whole thing to create this board. The slightest mistake at 20 psi is shows, whereas if you make a board at 15 psi, you're not stretching the material, so it's less likely to show. But the board doesn't perform because it's bending in the middle.
Yes.
So it's the whole thing really. It does from the materials to where we are now.
Yes, from the material to the process. Also the high pressure means the board may be easier to get leak or exploded. The material itself must be strong, and also the glue must be accurate and must be quite even in the process. You can't do it quite quickly.
Yeah.
You must be slow. Make sure the glue is applied smoothly everywhere. If it's not in higher PSI, you get higher chance the board gets warranty issues.
Okay. Yeah. So being able to produce this 5-inch thick board for lighter riders, really, you know, they're not even lighter riders now. That the weight limits are getting increased all the time. Just allows for them to not be sitting on this big 6-inch board that feels very buoyant and bobbing along, disconnected with the water. This C shape, this higher PSI, lower profile board just means everything feels nicer to the customer, but it's taken a long time to be able to build that performance.
Yes.
So for the Eagle Eye in front of us, I noticed we've now got some nose cones. This is a Shark innovation from about 8 years ago. Eagle Eye, people would have seen them on the boards already. From this kind of more heavier, slightly heavier but very solid plastic cone that I believe you used to glue onto the boards. We now have a array of carbon nose cones that have developed through the age, and obviously they improve performance, they make the board go through the water nicer, making everything go. But what made you think about putting nose cones on, and what's the journey been to the latest version?
Yes. At Shark, I'm always thinking the way how to improve the performance of the paddleboard. And I noticed the flat board glide in the water, the nose will create a lot of drags. You will have, it's hard to paddle. And then I'm thinking to a way to refine the nose to improve the performance of the paddleboard. So this is the first generation. 8 years ago, we created this nose. It's made by PVC. It's a bit heavy, but the shape the edges is to cut the water to improve the performance of the board. It's good on, it's flexible and good on all shape of the board because this one is flexible. You can glue it. It's quite strong. But after 8 years using this, we feel like the nose cone is a really good idea to improve the board performance. But the shape and weight is we also need to improve the shape and the weight of this nose cone. So we come to the second generation. This one using carbon fiber material. It's much lighter. The first idea we thinking about the same way glue the carbon fiber on the board, but we realized the problem is this one is hard, and it's not easy to glue, and also people folding the board because this one is hard. It's hard to fold at the same time.
Yeah, so that's rigid. So with the old one, you could fold it, and the material would move with it.
Yes.
Because the nose cone is flexible. This being rigid would cause people to maybe over pull the PVC and the glue. Yeah.
Yes. So the glue idea we passed. It's not perfect. So we moved to something like clips. So this is the second one. Carbon. We try have 4 clips to have this nose cone on the board. But we quickly found this 4 clips will create also difficulty for people to put it on and take it off. So we moved to the next generation. This one only have 2 clips, easier for people to put it on and take it off. And also we do some study on the shape. This shape is easier for the water goes through and cutting the water more smoothly than this version. So in 2025, we will have this nose cone on a lot of our models.
Yeah, so the clips allow you to basically take the nose cone off. use the board without the nose cone with more refined nose, so it still goes through the better than the old bigger boards.
Yep.
But also much easier to pack away,
Yeah.
put it back in the bag without having to kind of do this little bit of fold, which you had to do with the old style.
Yes, exactly.
And much lighter.
Yeah, and also the good thing is we can sell this one separately, because some people, if they want to improve the performance of the paddleboard, they want to have a better speed. This nose cone will help the board help improve the performance. Yeah.
Okay.
This is optional.
Yeah, so it comes standard on some boards and optional on others.
Yes.
So we've just gone through the carbon nose cone and how that's worked with it. I suppose really something we haven't covered on paddleboards is the rocker, or certainly now with kind of boards, the lack of rocker in the Shark boards, that having a refined nose and the carbon nose cone allow you to make a lot more flatter board. And we all know the kind of advantages that the true water length is in there. It's not being affected by the wind. Again, was that kind of designed? What's bad about rocker, I suppose? Why did you decide to make something flatter?
Yes, the flatter means the true length on the water. For longer distance, if you want paddle, you feel the flat board will the performance is better than the rocker, because the rocker will push the water, and also the wind will create drags to make the board slow. You will find difficulty in paddling. So that's the idea of flat board.
Okay, so even though the nose is a bit that might be touching the water, that narrower point is pushing the water out of the way,
yes,
rather than having a board with rocker where the underneath is pushing it almost like a wall against water, making it much tighter. So we've talked about how flat the board is and all the construction, but what makes it go in a straight line really is the fin. But more importantly, most probably is the fin box. There's quite a lot of chat about fin boxes, whether you have a universal standard fin, a click fin, a slide-in fin. We've always been a big advocate of the kind of universal fin, because you can buy a fin anywhere in the world. Shark's kind of gone one step further really, or maybe now 2 steps further with the third generation, but they have their own click-in fin system. But it also takes the US fin, so if you do want to put a river fin or anything in, you can. Again, what led you to kind of come up with this system? I mean, it's brilliant, but what was the thought process behind this one, and then kind of the new one that will prepare for 2025?
Yes. The idea of making this foldable fin is for the beginners, the new paddlers, because the traditional US fin is you have screw. You need to put it the right way and using the screw to fix the fin. So this one, the first generation, is quite easy to use. You can just slide the fin in and push, and then you get your fin ready. So this is the idea come from. And the advantage of the fin box, because it is flexible, so will help people to fold their board much tighter.
Yeah.
And another advantage is because the fin box, the traditional US fin box, sometimes when you fold it too hard, it sometimes get broken.
Yeah.
So this one will be quite stable. You won't get broken your fin. And also you mentioned the fin box can put US fin or your favorite fin, no matter what shape. It's a universal fin box system, so you can put any fin you want. And then we move to the second generation. Is this one? You can feel like the shape is more refined.
Yeah, it's definitely, you can see it more streamlined, and it looks like the water will flow around that a lot nicer.
Yes, this is the design come from. The same function, it can bend, can help you to fold your board, and also the same feature, you can put any US fin. It's a universal fin box, so you can put any your favorite fin inside. Also, we improved the second generation of Shark fin. It can be easy to put in.
Okay.
Yeah, easier, and also it won't be shaky, and also you can get it out quite easy. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just push and get it out. So it's also helping the beginners to use their fin quite easy.
Yeah, so just more innovation to help people
Yeah.
get on the water quickly, use
Yes.
their favourite fins, help it flow through the water, and then finally, which I think a lot of people struggle with, is getting it back in the bag.
Yeah.
So we give a nice generous bag with sharkboard, so that's good. But yeah, it certainly helps with all those things.
Yes, exactly.
So I think we're nearly there, Alan. We've really designed a good board there. I suppose the final thing to talk about really, which is being introduced more for 25, is the functionality of a paddleboard. Yes, people want to stand up on it. Yes, people want to go 1 hour. One people want to go days, want to go exploring. So really what we put into the board this year is multiple cargo points and handles. I mean, handles have been on the board for a while, but it's important to have a tail handle. So if you need to lift the board out with the fin out, help you get the nose handle out, and obviously crucially the centre handle. But then we've got D-rings everywhere, so you can, I suppose you can put cargo netting at the back. You can extend that on the touring boards to be 6 cargo points to carry lots and lots of accessories. And the same on the front, we've got 6 on the touring boards, 6 on this board, but again, 2 more on the touring board, so you can have a huge amount of cargo and go travelling, camping. But these multi-function points can also take shoulder straps. You could take a kayak seat. So pretty much anything people want to do, they've got a good-looking, well-made board. They can stand on, sit on, go camping, attach a GoPro, water bottle, GPS. We've just hopefully created something that will give everybody a big smile.
Yes.
So I think what excites me most about the Shark range, not only obviously we've got the flat rocker and we've got the nose cone and we've got the sea curve and the rails and we've got kayak seats which allow families to go out and have children sitting on the front of boards and they're all relaxed. But the biggest thing that we get is people ringing up and saying, what paddleboard should I buy? What's right for my height and weight? And I think the thing that we've successfully done within the Shark range anyway, but even more for 2025, is allowing us to have a board that fits every height and weight. And we've done it in the all-round boards as well, but they're very much more family fun. But going from the performance all-rounds right through to the 11.6 boards, which we also call performance all-rounds, through to the 12.6s and the 14-foots and the 14-foot race boards, is really dialing in and allowing each rider to have the right length, width and thickness, particularly for them. And I just that's the bit that excites me most, that we'll be able to have somebody who's 5 foot and 50 kilos on a 12.6 or 14-foot board that's absolutely perfect and the right buoyancy, and we'll be able to have somebody 120 kilos and 6'5", 6'7", and we'll be able to offer them a board within the Shark range that allows them to just have as much fun on something that's perfect for them as well. And very, very excited by the new range.
I think Shark is most probably their first brand to offer 14-foot race boards for lighter riders in 5 inches. I don't think anyone's done it for.
No, it's going to be very exciting.
Watch some winning races, hopefully.
Okay, thank you, Emma and Gary. Come to the factory, visit me and learn how the paddleboard has been produced.
Yeah, it's been really good actually. I thought I knew how paddleboards were made from the conversations we've had and the information you've given us in the past, but to actually see the process, the materials, the workmanship, the whole factory, how it all runs as a family to deliver this product is really good. So I thank you for inviting us, and I hope that everyone watching this video finds it very informative.
Thank you.
No, thank you too.